so many border agents have gotten that they are actually looking at seeing if the Homeland Security can be impeached. That is a Herculean leap, to put it mildly, but it is something right now that shows how frustrated they are. I wanted to raise that with Art Del Cueto, the National Border Patrol Council Vice President. And Art, I can understand their just overall angst, but nothing's going to happen on this unless the president dumps the guy and he reports to the president, who really is the guy when it comes to border policy. He visited, the border, not for very long, didn't see any migrants. End of story. This is about maybe as good as it's going to get with this administration. What do you think?
Well, see, and that's part of the problem. Here you have an individual that has had the job. He hasn't done a good job at it. And I guess he reports back to the president. What's he been reporting? That there's no issues at the border, because that's what you're hearing from the White House. You have the president come down to the border, and immediately the agency cleans the whole place up so they can show him, hey, there isn't a problem. And I think that's what we're facing here. We're facing an individual that doesn't really care about our nation's borders. You have he's working with enough individuals that are put in high-level positions that at the same time don't care. So they pretend everything's nice and pretty, but the reality is, and you guys have seen it, we've been talking about it for several episodes or whatever you want to call it now, talking about the issues, and we're seeing the problem. We're seeing the frustration with the agents out there in the field. We're seeing the numbers continue to grow. Every single time that we're on here, you talk about, hey, this is another record month. It's another record month of individuals that are breaking our nation's laws, and here you have the Secretary of Homeland Security not doing anything about it, and if anything, reporting to the White House saying that there is no problem. That's what the problem really is.
You're quite right about that. But the bottom line is these numbers don't change, and this record, reading of migrants at the border, or at least the gotaway, is now over 251,000. Latest month in December, no less. Certainly a month we don't typically see that sort of thing. It remains out of control. Are you optimistic that any of the concessions that Mexico supposedly made to deal, with asylum cases and the like, and something the president was bragging about, and Mayorkas was bragging about, is going to yield results?
We're always hopeful when we're out here. We're hopeful that something's going to get done, but it's been so bad right now. I think I got more chances of growing hair on the top of my head than I got of this administration actually caring about our nation's borders.
All right. I think the hair thing is a possibility. But let me finally get your sense of what happens now. Obviously, they're going to have these 30,000 asylum cases processed a month, I guess, through Mexico. Still too early to say how that's going to go. What do you think?
But at the same time, you're going to be processing more. You're going to be processing faster. You're going to have agents that are still going to be preoccupied in the processing centers. And the individuals that are, taking advantage of it right now is the drug cartels. They control our nation's borders. And it's horrible to say it, but it's the cold, hard facts. They control the nation's borders. They send agents to one area, and they're going to continue bringing drugs into the United States.
By the way,
and that's
Art,
where
that's
all the
big
problems
worry
are.
of Ben Crenshaw. Of course, I don't want to have to replay the bite, but he told me we need military at the border. We need them held in and dealing with these drug cartels and stopping all the bad stuff that's coming through. Now, when I raised to the possibility that the Mexicans aren't going to like that, the president wouldn't endorse that. He says, well, he's not giving up on that. What do you think?
We need somebody that actually cares about the United States, our nation's borders, and people in America. You can sit there and say it's going to upset other people, but at the same time, they're the ones that are causing these problems. You have all these drug cartels that are running a lot of the border, and they're taking care of, paying off individuals in other countries. We need to make sure that we defend our nation's borders. We need to make sure that Americans are safe, that Americans are happy.
Got it. Well said. Art, always good seeing you, my friend. Art Del Cueto, the National Border Council Vice President.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.